It all started 23 years ago in one of my dream companies, product analytics onto it. Then taking analytics into shop automation, assurances for further business transformation. We were looking at predominantly on areas of risk analytics. And then the whole COE which I set up was growing very rapidly. This was the spark that I identified when I was telling you about the project in which we took uh, parameters to be very profitable. So while being at the helm of profitable business, there needs to be some checks and balances in place.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. We have one such industry leader on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Manikandan Sriganeshan. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Mr. Mani.
Thank you very much, Sunny. Thank you very much for having me on this session. Looking forward for a very, very good interaction with you as well as all the viewers out there.
Likewise, sir. Mr. Mani is an expert technology and business leader with a remarkable career spanning 23 years, characterized by a strong focus on technology transformation, program management, and data capability engineering. In his latest role at BNY Mellon as Principal Project and Program Manager and Vice President, he has played a critical role in digital transformation and business development. So, Mr. Sriganeshan, to begin with, could you let our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It all started 23 years ago in one of my dream companies, product consultancy services. And I actually started my journey as a programmer. Um, basically, those days, IT industry was, I would say, at the cusp of change because we just had the Y2K problem coming in and being solved. A lot of Indian industry is scaling up and trying to look at getting into IT services. And we were trying to establish ourselves worldwide as the emerging force in IT industry. And at that juncture, when I joined TCS, we started looking at how to take our services across to enterprise-wide solutions. Uh, we started, basically looking at tying up, uh, looking at services towards large corporates, taking up their IT services, IT, the kind of back office and things like that. But we always wanted to move up the value chain. So the focus firmly fell on basically enterprise-wide solutions. Whatever we did, we wanted to do it across enterprise. We wanted to go in from a pure maintenance mode into basically building solutions for our end customers, working towards them. We wanted to bring in the value proposition to it. That coupled with my background as a mechanical engineer, where I did my master's as well, it actually heralded an era where we started looking at the genesis of a particular solution called product lifecycle management, or PLM in short. So there started the kind of journey where we're looking at automating shop floors, bringing all the CAD CAM, CAE, and product data management onto enterprise-wide solutions, looking at how to bring in business intelligence, looking at the kind of data we had. We started building data analytics onto it. Then taking analytics into shop floor automation, workflow automation. We were on the border of something called as IoT, even before IoT was actually coined. So there are projects in which I remember that we were looking at basically producing reports from shop floor machines, which used to give out readings of various parameters of which decide or which actually define how the machine is working. And we were supposed to just come out and pull up those details and give reports, which will help a person at the shop floor basically understand whether his machine's working fine or not, whether it needs maintenance or not, whether parameters that is supposed to be maintained by those machines are in a particular condition or control or not. But we didn't stop it at that. Looking at the kind of data we had, we decided to feed it back into the machines to trigger an alarm in itself, saying that you're reaching the inner or outer control limits. Statistically, we analyze whether how much more you can run and things like that. So that was a very nascent phase of IoT where data was being brought in from those machines which are actually doing the work on the shop floor and analyzed and fed back to basically make the machine change the way it is working or continue the way it is supposed to work all the time while keeping the user informed and things like that. So that was a brief, look into the future, which basically unfolded 5, 6 years down the line. This is just a small example of what I did. Uh, Moving on the technology side by looking into cutting edge technology, moving away from uh, traditional legacy systems onto modern open era systems all the way to the cloud was one part of a journey that I took as a part of my IT journey there. But subsequently on the other side, we were also looking at how to bring in better processes and how to crunch the timelines, how to look at better building better solutions, better quality, how to start building up a team, ramping up the team, how to basically look at customers and their business problems as our own, so that what solutions we actually give is going to bring about a huge transformation in the way they are looking at running their businesses. So the bottom line that we wanted to bring in those years, the formative years, was using technology transformation to bring about the complete business transformation for the end customers. And that involved a lot of managerial skills as well as the business skills that we picked up along the line because we wanted to be stakeholders with the customers, not just some kind of vendors. At that time, the term got replaced with actual stakeholders, and we were a very integral part of them. And to prove that, we had to really ramp up in the way we were working. So from programmer base to handling large projects, interacting with customers from around the globe, as much as 20 countries spread across 4 geographies, helping them out with the IT solutions, to looking at proposing huge transformation programs in IT, which is help with the business programs. It was a one hell of a quantum leap from being a programmer. And the exposure to a complete global work scenario with the global client spread across, and the kind of managerial responsibilities that I took up. I was growing along with the company. The company was growing along with all of us. It was a very good uh, place in which we were basically into a lot of niche areas, a lot of business areas which are emerging, purely because at the core of everything that we were doing we were into very strong business analytics. And that strong business analytics actually led us to a lot of discovery about what can be done with the kind of data we have, what can be analyzed, what can be proposed to our customers, what can be looked at to make things better and better. And this strong focus on business analytics let me move on to my next dream company, which was SAS. SAS Institute is basically the leading in business analytics. They were Gartner, they were always in the top quadrant out there. So the focus completely shifted into heavy duty analytics. And we were looking at analytics based inferences for further business transformation. We were looking at predominantly on core areas of risk analytics, fraud prevention, etc. So that's when I started moving across domains. So starting with industry domain like automotive, moving on to aerospace, moving on to high tech manufacturing, brief stint in BFSI, and then moving on to health and life sciences, utilities. After all this, I decided to jump in with the kind of business analytics power that we were possessing, the knowledge we were possessing. I started moving completely into risk analytics, and my major focus shifted to the banking industry amongst all the business, BFSI verticals. Um, Looking at, we leveraged a lot of those risk analytics program that helped Indian banks assess their risk, credit risk, and then spanning it across the enterprise-wide risk. Basis this kind of a work, with a stronghold on technology, I decided to jump in to basically leverage the other capabilities that I felt I was possessing, and how do I leverage those? So I moved on to my next small time company called Digital Group Infotech, and they were doing rather really well. into a lot of process and a lot of customers and helping out with their business models and things like that. However, they didn't have the kind of stronghold on very strong technology. They were basically catering to a few technology which were relevant at that point of time, and they were not yet future proof. And we had a kind of a meeting where we discussed that let's look at evolving what I called as the tech COEs. And that's when we started moving the business model from a delivery system of routine projects to setting up the tech COEs, which will help how we can shape up into the newer businesses for customers who are looking at scaling up from infancy and moving up, them up in the value chain of business consulting. And then the whole COE, which I set up, was growing very rapidly, and we had allied technologies coming in. And that's when we were knocking on what we call as the digital technologies. Cloud-based things were coming in. It was cloud was all at the infancy. And this is a story of around 11 to 12 years ago. And that's actually interested me a lot. And that's when I took my quantum leap again into one of the big banks of UK and Europe, the Royal Bank of Scotland. Uh, the whole thing that we were looking at is let's establish the COE model as a factory model and try to bring in a lot of processes that Royal Bank of Scotland in their technology wing of building IT solutions were actually having, and let's standardize them, and let's look at how to crunch those timelines, how to look at better value proposition, and how we're going to come out with very robust, technological solutions with risk-free or risk-mitigated kind of uh, approach process that we were actually looking at, and the COE model actually helped putting out certain ground rules where every other team which was working in silos will start coming together. Uh, so I started with Royal Bank of Scotland, where the regulatory requirements came in along with the business requirements. And I started putting up across a plan as to how we're going to be lifting and shifting the legacy solutions. And we are looking at automation in major ways as we lift and shift those. And then we were looking at leveraging the emerging digital and cloud technologies to help move into cutting edge areas. So I championed the whole of cloud adoption and agile process adoptions for helping bringing about change programs, large programs, and we were basically trying to make it quicker, faster, and more efficient, and that meant making the whole business area very agile and nimble. So I took up the leadership, technology leadership for enterprise-wide risk technology for the whole of RBS, and I set up my department out in Chennai, and I built the team from scratch. So for the first time, we moved the whole enterprise-wide risk technology out of UK into Chennai, and stepped up a team, and we were pretty much rolling along. And all this kind of transformation was basically hinging on three pillars. One is the regulatory requirements, another one is the business requirements from the bank itself, and it was the third pillar was very strong. It was technology focus, firmly focusing on the future. So with this kind of a background, and then finally when I moved into BNY, we had so much of data out there, and we had the kind of intelligence that we were having. So still we were looking at there are a lot of things that's being worked in silos, and how do we bring them all onto the same table. So every point of the career, we were only looking at basically analyze the data, look at the business problem, look at what technology adoption could be done, leverage the tech transformations to bring about the kind of business transformations we are looking at. So I took up the ownership of building huge BI dashboards that will give insight into every leader in BNY who is having their own department to basically look at how their departments are performing on various key parameters, the KPIs and KRIs as we call them in our parlance, and then take intelligent, decisions and on how to shape up their business or their verticals or their departments. And to do that, we set up the whole kind of business dashboards enterprise-wide, and it was real-time available to them. So at any point of time, they could actually look at those dashboards, 13, 14 of them at high level, which was able to dig down deeper, and it would give them insights as to where they are looking at, what is their rack status, how much are they burning, what's the kind of ROI they're getting, what kind of technologies that they need to be working on. These are some of the few ones that determine the future of the technology point of any company, which actually impacts the business side of it. So when they were armed with this kind of a ready information on easily understandable dashboards, the company went a lot of transformation within itself on a business point of view. So this is how my whole thing actually it started. Now I'm known for bringing in a lot of cloud adoption. I'm known for digitalization. I'm known for building those strong teams and looking at tech transformation in a large way to bring about business transformations. And I'm known for a very strong team uh, management and stakeholder management and kind of industry leader in the set of things that I do. So that's how my business has shaped up all the while, Sunny.
Amazing, amazing. Mr. Mani, thank you for the excellent start to this interview. And I must say, your career journey is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
So, continuing our conversation, Mr. Mani, what do you consider to be your biggest professional achievements and accomplishments so far, and why?
So my biggest professional achievements, I would just call them as basically, uh, I started out as a programmer. Now I've reached into a place where I'm uh, actually interacting with the level of people who are in positions where they take critical decisions that would make or break the future of the business. And they are all looking at the kind of work me and my team does. So uh, the biggest achievement is in building a team which enables me to present the kind of data and the information which would allow the senior most management to take the kind of business decisions across domains. It doesn't matter whether they are making a car or a mobile phone. At every point of my career, the kind of deployments that we've done, or the kind of projects we've taken up, or the kind of deliverables that we've done, or the kind of team that I've built, has always come out with an end purpose or an end deliverable, or a kind of, this is what we do kind of a statement, which has gone on to redefine the way the customers, partners, the company itself has been working. For example, Motorola, where I was briefly involved with them as a part of TCS, the kind of solutions that we deployed, they came out with one of the landmark mobile phones using our solutions to design and manufacture the phone called the Moto Razr. And Motorola was at the brink of extinction before that, and Moto Razr breathed new life into them. That was the thinnest clamshell phone or flip phone for the layperson. Similar way, when we were looking at, another example would be like we are looking at fraud detection, fraud prevention, credit risk, and things like that. When we were doing all these kind of things as a part of the regulatory change, I could actually find out how banks were in very, very poor shape. At that point of time, major banks defaulted, the people were broke, banks were broke. Uh, we had a huge crisis, the subprime crisis came up, regulations were tightened up, and it's a long journey for us to put the bank in the right process. Almost every bank had to go around trying to tighten up their regulatory program so that people don't borrow money and run away. So, or you know who you're going to lend it to, or you have a keen eye on what's the risk associated with lending to these kind of people, and risk, the credit risk, there's a huge area in itself. So at that point of time, when I got introduced into basically leading the technology for enterprise-wide risk, it presented me with an opportunity. And thanks to the team that I built, and we were working as a very cohesive force, wherein we ensured that the kind of reporting that we were doing out of our things that satisfied the lenders a lot. I mean, in entirety, the banks had cleaner numbers out there. Their health started growing up again from the brink of being, bankrupt. Uh, we started reporting the first profit in almost 10 quarters or something, and that's a huge turnaround. So at every point of time, it's not like this is the biggest success for me. Every success is the same. When you sit and write your first program as a trainee, and that gave me the exhilarating feeling of this is the biggest success as compared to writing, handling big teams and looking at running it very seamlessly, the whole department, and then achieving your business outcomes. Like I want to save 2 million pounds or something in my next quarter by lifting and shifting this technology, and those kind of challenges as well, or those kind of achievements to me, they were all kind of equally exhilarating. Maybe the child in me is still growing, learning, and taking every challenge as equal, or every success as equal. But one thing that I did notice is as you climb up the chain, as you climb up the value chain, uh, even smaller success at very, very high level bring a bigger impact to your company, bigger impact to the whole world itself. So, frankly speaking, I have a lot of success stories. I have a lot of painful stories of learning and growing as well. But thankfully, the success stories has, kind of grown over and above the kind of toil it took to reach there. With these two examples, I would say that even the smaller success at very high levels brings a huge change in the world. So almost everything, there's so many success stories coming to my mind, but I'll just leave it with these two examples.
Rightly said, Mr. Mani. So, building
Yeah.
on to that, how have your roles in different organizations shaped your approach to leadership and technology positions?
Okay, so I played multiple roles. I started as a developer. I led small teams. I went in as a consultant, which means I'm looking at, handling technology. I even took a process consulting for some of the, companies, and I had to keep technology at the core of it, and then start looking at how do we go around deploying this process. Technology is there, and at every point of time, if something new comes in, be it technology or process, the immediate thing is that there is a lot of unwillingness from various stakeholders because they do not have a clear understanding of what change we are bringing it at any point of time. So the higher you grow, the bigger role you take, then the more uh, worry that the stakeholders have because the stakes are growing even higher. So earlier days, it was purely, interacting with a machine. I write a code, it works. It works, then stakeholders are happy because the impact of it was very small. And then when I started leading a team, uh, we need to look at everybody in the team doing something very cohesive so that the outcome was achieved. So I had to develop not just programming skills, I had to develop even team building skills and management skills and things like that. And as we started growing up, both in technology side, I had to bring in a lot of skills about understanding technology roadmap very quickly, anticipating what the future has in store for us. When I was looking at process consulting, I was looking at how we can break these kind of things and give them a much more simpler process, which is foolproof and which would actually help out with quickening your business process, with mitigating the risks and giving you the kind of value proposition faster, quicker, and with a better handle of the whole process without disturbing the set of people who felt very nervous about changing your whole business processes. So, which means I needed to pull in a lot of things about stakeholder management, about conflict management, about crisis management, about stakeholder buy-in. My communication skills has to move up in entirety from talking to somebody who's very very junior to talking to somebody who's sitting on a 10 million or $100 million budget, and his okay or not okay is what is going to define the next 2 3 years of roadmap and 2 3 years of adoption that I have in my plans. So I decided to basically take this up, not just like I wanted structured learning as to how to improve my skills across the various roles. So I did my senior leadership program from XLRI just 2 years ago. I completed it, and that also had a tie-up with the Harvard, where they given four of the certification courses as a part of this executive diploma for senior managers. So those four of the certificate courses from Harvard meant negotiation skills, contract management, crisis management, uh, leadership skills at very senior stakeholder levels and things like that. So uh, the as and when the opportunity presented to grow, I understood that I needed to basically look at reskilling, unlearning many of the things that I learned, relearning many of the things that I've forgotten, learn newer things, adapt to the changes, adapt to all the changes that's happening around me, look at how people are working, the best ways of working around the globe, look at which is the best practice that can be best tailor made to your kind of industry vertical and practice, and look at how to approach the problem at hand as an opportunity, as a business opportunity to learn and grow in a very symbiotic manner. And that's how I've been turning around my thing. So even today, we are looking at learning newer technology skills, learning newer things that's on the horizon, be it process, leadership, or technology. So that learning is continuous. Learning is continuous. Growth is continuous. You grow, the team grows, you grow, the company grows, the whole world grows. So that's been the focus point. So uh, the roles keep changing, you keep growing, but the learning continues on. So that's the way I've been approaching all these things, Sunny.
Amazing, amazing, Miss Money. All right. So before we dive deeper into the subject of ESG and corporate governance, and since we are talking about technology and you belong to this landscape, our viewers would like to know what changes do you envision or wish to bring about in your field or to the whole corporate world with
Oh,
technologies like IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, cloud, digital twin, big data,
oh,
and Web 3.0.
okay, so this is exactly my bread and butter. Now, I would like to quote the chess grandmaster and my what I call as my childhood inspiration, Mr. Vishwanathan Anand. So he was posed this question about computers becoming super smart, and this question was posed to him maybe 7 8 years ago, and at that time, IoT, cloud, they're all still growing, and cloud, yes, it had reached a place where there was an industry buzz. IoT was still growing, and when they asked this question to Vishwanathan Anand, that computers are becoming super intelligent, so in future will it be possible for a human to defeat a computer in chess? And Vishwanathan Anand's reply was very emphatic and pinpointed and thought-provoking. He said, today a computer defeats a human being. Tomorrow the technology will change that the refrigerator will beat the human being in chess. Day after tomorrow, maybe your microwave oven will beat the human being in chess. So that's how things are evolving. There is intelligence being built in to every machine around us. And machines, we even call our phone as a smartphone. Gone are the days when I used to dial up into internet and wait for the modem sound and things like that. And after 20 trials of getting disconnected, we finally get in and we are looking at a speed of maybe 8 kbps or something, or such slow speeds where we used to use POG, say, Perl, Unix, those kind of things. Now we are looking at connected systems. We are looking at enterprise-wide solutions. We are looking at a kind of 5G, maybe 6G on the anvil. Technology has evolved to such a way that we have today we are talking of self-drive cars which are actually on the road. We'll be looking at unimaginable kind of transformation that brings things around. This was the spark that I identified when I was telling you about the project in which we took uh, parameters from machine. So basically, the machine was manufacturing vaccines, and it was having Siemens PLC and SCADA and other things like that. And those were actually sending out the readings of what are the parameters that you need to maintain uh, in the flow of creating those vaccine for every raw material that goes into it. And they didn't want human intervention at all. So all the person does is goes in, turns on the machine, goes out, and it has to come out in a very, sterile environment where so that the vaccine doesn't become exactly opposite of what it is supposed to do. Uh, so they were just asking us for giving them intelligent reports of pulling out what are the parameters that is going within this, and get those maybe temperature, pressure, turbidity, acidity, and those kind of things that you measure out from there of the raw material. We went ahead and added on a layer onto it stating that we can feed the data back into the same thing and then start regulating those machines automatically. So which means that uh, it doesn't need to trigger an alarm to you to come and say that this machine may malfunction. You go back and regulate the valve or make some changes on your program, change the way the machine works. It will start making the change by itself when it reaches that kind of upper control limit or lower control limit, and you're just analyzing it, plotting it over a graph, and then putting those control limits, and then when it nears that, we'll trigger an alarm. The program does it. It feeds it back the signal back to the machine, which will regulate by itself. That's perhaps the earliest form of IoT that I could think of because it had the core analytics being built into it. And this was as early as 2010. And the world hadn't coined the term IoT then. Now we have everything almost everywhere that humans are just looking at, okay, how do we leverage what the machine for us to do things better? AI is the buzzword out there. I just came back from a conference where the whole pitch was about, AI is not here to take your jobs, but AI is here to make it better. You know who will take your jobs? The person who knows how to use AI. It's not that humans are not going to be redundant, but the machines are going to help us make things a lot better. So this is where the technology is evolving. Blockchain, AI, analytics at the core of anything is going to make a lot of things easier for you. You'll have faster detection at what risks are out there. We're sitting on a mountain of data. For example, the credit risk things. We are sitting at a mountain of data, and we are statistically predicting what is the probability for anyone to default, what is the loss given a default if it actually happens, what is the exposure when the default has actually happened. So people are armed with next 10 years of data that what could go wrong, which will help them take better decisions as of today. We could do predictive analytics for petroleum customer clients who wanted to know exactly how much fuel will be sold state-wise, district-wise, so that I will know how much I have to stock. Now, petroleum or diesel sales is heavily depend on over 400 different parameters. You can't predict it. Now, and they wanted the prediction for 6 months, rolling 1 month after month. But we have the kind of compute power now. We have the kind of data insights. We have accumulated huge amount of data, and then we are into quantum computing. Now we are in the cusp of actually creating humanoid robots who will come and do all the things you won't even know. Today, when I pick up the phone and call to someone, I don't even know whether I spoke to somebody, a human person at the other end, or there is just some automated, voice which is coming and telling me which menu options I should choose, and then coming out and telling me exactly what I need to do if my credit card is locked. I don't talk to a human. I'm talking to somebody, a bot or something, and that voice just comes back and says, "Okay, so we have taken your thing, and we'll just attend to it immediately." So Amazon sends a parcel. I don't like it. I just chat with them. I'm just chatting with a bot. Uh, Banks have set up all their bots. Now the whole thing has gone into getting AI into pharma world, and pharma is extremely regulated. Risk involves life of a human, and those kind of things they don't fool around because the regulations are tighter. Regulations are extremely tight in aerospace industries. So slowly, rather, I should use this term slowly, but extremely rapidly, AI, robotics, all these kind of things are basically coming into areas that we never ever thought that they would come in. So what do we have in it? We have humans have a great skill. They can learn and adapt into a lot of things. They can adopt a lot of newer things. They can create newer things. And that would make life very much easier for us. Technology is now shifting at a pace in which I can't even master something tomorrow if something new comes up today. It may take 3 months, and in the 3 months, there'll be 300 different things coming in. That's the way the world is going to go, and it's all for good. It's all for good because this is a very interesting thing that I like to do. Say, uh, just a few days ago, a small glitch in a system crashed the whole airline industry with boarding process being stuck, and the whole world is thrown out of gear. It's just a small glitch somewhere. If they found out a solution for it, they say go and remove this kind of a sys file from here or whatever it is. We know who caused it, and Microsoft is majorly impacted and things like that. So that's the kind of impact it has. So if we know how to leverage this, right? If we know how to leverage this, we can bring about a positive change across enterprises, across industry, across continents, across the whole world. And AI, robotics, blockchain, cloud adoption, digitalization are only going to make the pace of how you can set up a business or how you can run a business ethically and how you can bring a sea change, a quantum change to the world you're living in, it can crunch those timelines to unimaginable, levels. And you are in the middle of everything. It's not the AI. AI is just an enabler. Robotics just an enabler. Cloud is just an enabler. Tomorrow we'll have a new technology coming in. So it's all exciting as a technology and a business leader. It's very exciting to be at this point, at this juncture.
Rightly said, Mr. Mani. All right, so moving forward from technology transformation, program management, and data capability engineering, what led your interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Okay, now this is, let me say, for me, ESG is evolving as an area of focus. Now, the nature of risks and opportunities facing the business community has evolved, and the operators and the so-called capital allocators, the one who plunks their money alike, they must better understand the implications of what is changing here, because they are in a position of power and they can change the world, they can change the business, they can change the technology. And this now comes in with a lot of added baggage: materiality, the physical climate risk, human capital management, the governance issues for which a lot of things are being under focus. And my favorite aspect of all this, called as the corporate social responsibilities. Now, all these have become very key words and they are very key functions, and they now shape up ethical businesses, right? And the paradigm shift for what I say sustainable business and in return sustainable futures is stemming from the fact that business shift is being viewed with what level of governance and the positive change that we are able to bring in. And when we are able to bring in, that is while looking at the very primary purpose of any business, and which is to be very profitable. So while being at the helm of profitable business, there needs to be some checks and balances in place that helps with ensuring that what we do is sustainable and we bring positive value to every stakeholder that we are involved with or that our business practices touch and enhance. Now, this importance is also well appreciated and picked up as a global order, an industry need. Now, there is regulations as well being brought in, or basically it's on the anvil by various other authorities as well. Now, I believe the future is all about environmental, social, and governance inbuilt profitable businesses. Now, these needs to be inbuilt into those businesses that are sustainable, and this shift is easier to analyze and cater to as we have decades of data and intelligence, right? We are sitting on mountain of data intelligence, and we can crunch the same and predict which way we are going to make the move. So no more the industries are working in silos. We do something anywhere, we touch somebody else totally unrelated also, what we used to call as the butterfly effect. It's all there. No more we are in silos. And I just told you about the small glitch, right? That quickly threw the whole airlines industry out of gear. So as we progress, imagine this. This is how widespread and quick the impact can be. Any change, quick and impact can be in a connected and automated world. And we are talking of AI, digital world, cloud computing, and robotics, and all those kind of things. So we are a connected world and we are an automated world. So now imagine the power we have in ourselves to make that positive impact. Imagine a small change in one place that can bring about a complete business shift to very positive effect, or in the ultimate purpose levels, bring about a positive change in lives of all living very quickly, rapidly, if I leverage them properly. So I believe ESG will be the catalyst in bringing that positive change. People make the change, and ESG is going to be a very good catalyst in bringing that positive change in the world by all these business houses. Now, this is where I firmly believe that industry will partner governance and they go hand in hand. So that's what interested me heavily into ESG, because no more we are looking at only purely profitable businesses, but we are looking at profitable, sustainable businesses which are very ethical, and we care about the world. We care about ESG. We care about environmental regulations. We care about corporate social responsibility. We care about corporate governance, which makes you kind of adapt and adopt practices which makes it a better world by making it a better business for everyone. So I believe ESG is a fantastic thing that is going to make uh, it worthwhile when we are looking at doing that business and taking stepping into the next set of technology and business challenges. I think we need to partner with this.
All right. So, Mr. Mani, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Now, this is what I would do. First and foremost thing is that uh, I always say that every problem has a solution, and we need to look at the solution which touches every part of the world in a very, very positive way. Our business is not only to look at, okay, we are here, we are running this, we are a big conglomerate, and we are only looking at being world number one. Yeah, the being world number one is very good. But at the same time, we need to have certain ground rules out there. And being world number one for whom? For yourself and the world. So there are very key aspects that we need to bring into our workplace, be it in the terms of ethics, be in terms of governance, be in the terms of what is the common good that we can still bring in while being industry leaders out there. So I could quote in a personal level a lot of things that we did for as a part of say social CSR activities, corporate social responsibility activities, or even as we talk about say like sustainable banking, where we are talking about uh, try to reduce the carbon footprint, try to take e-banking to every nook and corner. Gone are the days when we are looking at mountains of voluminous paperwork for just opening an account or traveling across to a branch. Now it's all over, a video conference and your KYC gets done. So as a part of my technology transformation that I've been doing in risk areas, KYC, account, client activation, client and KYC is a very basic thing out there. Those are the first two building steps that will take you further into the business that we were actually firmly involved. You don't know a customer, you don't know who's going to default or who's going to defraud, things like that, right? So the kind of technology adoption that we brought in there was also having in mind that we need to be sustainable, we need to contribute back to the environment, we need to also look at how to make a positive change in some of the lesser privileged. We even had a Royal Bank of Scotland Foundation, which was a separate company, wherein I used to put in some of those managerial things out there, the concepts that I learned to shape up a team, and we were working on a lot of areas where we could reach out to underprivileged sections of the society. That also meant that setting up of ecotourism in certain places, like say Mangaljori, transforming the life of tribals out there in entirety, or looking at the Kanapinch Tiger Corridor and things like that. So a lot of efforts have been done by corporates, wherein as a part of it, we've been getting that awareness in, and then the thought process actually starts. What more can I do? And this is all falling into, say, environmental part of ESG. It's falling into governance part of ESG, and finally, it's falling into the sustainable part of ESG. And that's uh, core to any business is that you don't lose the human side of it. You don't lose the power of doing something positive out there. So every learning I put it back into it to pick up some or the other areas where we could positively contribute, not as an individual alone, but as a huge department, as perhaps the whole industry itself. So if you look at it around, every industry is now looking at it. You try to book something um, through, say, an online travel portal, they flash a message. Do you want to, contribute 5 rupees for a tree plantation? Do you want to be carbon neutral? Do you want to reduce the effects of these kind of things? Do you want to set up a fund for, kind of underprivileged children? That's now sinking into every corporate, and there needs to be a way, a framework, governing rules, and the government of India has also put in a lot of things on top of it as to say that these are things that we would like you to contribute, these are things that you should mandatorily look at. So these kind of regulations also coming into picture. I think whatever learning that we had till now and the kind of technology that we are wielding that can be used to bring in these kind of aspects also into running your business and still make it extremely profitable and make it extremely positive for the world. So that's where I'm looking at, and that's how things have been moving on across every corporate. I think they are all becoming extremely savvy about these things, and they're moving in the right direction. We just need to increase the pace.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Mani. And thank you for sharing such amazing insights into different subjects. So, all right, one last thing that I would like to ask you before we sum up this whole session. We are
Right.
building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So, what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the team
Now,
of World Development Corporation?
now this is, I would say that you've given me the answer in the form of a question, right? You use the word cross-pollination. That's a fantastic term. And I always keep saying that, the bees are very important. And the bees, honeybees, and they keep moving from flower to flower because they do cross-pollination. The bee goes, we have hardly 5 years to live on Earth because pollination stops. We still do not know. We don't have any way. So the bees are extremely important. If you don't have cross-pollination, the whole life form will get wiped out. That's the same with information, knowledge, expertise, experience, technology trends, business trends, industry leaders. That cross-pollination is basically sustaining the whole industry and taking them forward, sustaining all kind of businesses, taking them forward, sustaining technology trends, taking them forward. So I also said multiple times during our interaction that we no more work in silos. You touch something somewhere, something crashes. You touch something somewhere, something good can be done. Rapid effect. We saw that yesterday. We saw that the whole airline industry being thrown out of gear. That's how quickly things can spread now. That's the way the world is going. So cross pollination actually brings people even more closer, and it helps you know kind of evolve newer ideas, newer technological trends, newer business ideas, to look at how we take this forward. There's always challenge. Every time you climb, you climb, Kanchenjunga, you from there you see Everest is taller. You climb Everest, then you will find, okay, I need to go to outer space. There's always challenge. You reach one, the next summit is higher, longer, farther. So that's the whole spirit of Olympics. You look at the spirit of Olympics, you know what it is. You always keep trying to beat our own records, longer, farther, stronger, higher. So RTS, CTS, VTS. So that's something that we always look at challenges. Challenges keep us, pepped up for how do we go ahead from A to B. It's no more mundane work doesn't interest anyone. Not even new person who's getting into the industry. He wants challenges. Everybody wants challenges. And this cross pollination, especially the efforts taken by Zishan to bring in a lot of people from various areas onto a center stage, is actually, I'll use my other favorite word. I just told about catalyst, right? So this is acting like a catalyst to bring in the kind of social change, the kind of transformation that we are looking at, and it puts it at a rapid pace. You sit alone. There are only one set of people who will succeed by sitting alone. Those are the yogis. Sit in a cave, meditate. You will get spiritual upliftment. No one can touch you. You reach salvation. Those are the only people who will not only survive but will make it big. They will achieve their life purpose by sitting alone. For the rest of us, we need that cross pollination to bring about our success parameters. The success of the world depends on how close we interact. And I believe Zishan's been doing a fantastic job by setting this up and acting as a catalyst that would make these kind of cross pollination even faster and faster. Fantastic work, Zishan.
Great, 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 Mr. Mani. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Mr. Manikandan Sriganeshan, for joining us today, and we wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you very much. It has been very enlightening session all along with the Directors Institute. And today, when I was able to share my thoughts on it, I feel that I've given back to the society if this reaches all around and inspire more people to follow this path. We all want a better connected world. So thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity to talk about my achievements, my growth, and what kind of ideas I have for the future. And thanks for being a part of my journey. Uh, Without you, also, this journey would have become even more difficult. So I really thank Zishan and team for being a part of this journey. Thank you very much for this opportunity as well.
Thank you so much for sharing your time and insights with us. Thank you and have a
Right.
nice day.
Thank you. Thank you.